Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've baked a cake for you and I'm here to share the recipe with you. This is a basic cake that I like to use for of course my baking, and it's a dense, not too dense cake, and I'm using Nigerian cake recipe. So this is like the cake I grew up eating. And also don't forget to go to my subsequent videos after this to watch the buttercream frosting recipe, as well as the technique that I use to decorate this cake. I've put snippets here and there in this video, but the details are in the other videos. Okay, to start off making this cake, I am going to cream 2.5 sticks of butter, room temperature butter. I'm going to cut into it just like that, doing this so that it's easy for my mixer to mix everything in. But I will recommend, even if you're not using a hand mixer, I would recommend doing this because it's just easier to mix when you cut it up into smaller bits. And this is 2.5 sticks of butter, so that is about 3/4 of a cup. And I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of white sugar, and then 1 cup of brown sugar. And if you've ever worked the brown sugar, it gets clumpy and it sticks together. So I'm just going to take what I have there and just try to dissolve it into smaller bits. So I'm also using about a cup of brown sugar as well, but I don't think it's up to a cup. Going to mix that in with my hand mixer just like that, and now make sure all the sugar is completely mixed in with the butter, that it looks like it's one uniform. It looks like they're all together. This will take about 5 minutes depending on how much you have. So you want to mix it until it becomes creamy, like a whipped cream texture. And the basics for baking is pretty much creaming your sugar with your butter, adding your eggs, your vanilla essence or any essence you have, some milk, and some flour. That's the basics of baking. But you can customize it however you want. So to that I'm going to add 3 eggs. So eggs are the binding ingredient, is the ingredient that brings everything together. So usually I recommend, for like the cake of my size, I recommend three medium-sized eggs. If you want really fluffy cake, you use egg whites and you beat and you mix it really well. Mix it until it becomes almost airy. That's how you make fluffy light cakes. So I'm adding my vanilla extract. You can add almond extract or whatever. I like vanilla because it's easy to find and it gives the cake an amazing flavor and enhances the taste. You can use vanilla bean paste if you have that as well. It'll make the flavor richer if you use the vanilla bean paste. So right now I'm going to mix my my dry ingredients, and I like to mix in the cake mix that you buy in the store, the easy cakes. I like to mix in 1 cup with my flour, just because I like the flavor of the box cake, or should I say the easy cake recipe. I like to add that in with my flour. So I added 1 cup of cake mix to 1.5 cup of flour. So if you don't want to use cake mix, then you can just use 2 cups of flour. And I'm going to use evaporated milk into my butter, because evaporated milk is milk without water, so it's rich, it's excellent it's made for baking, actually baking and cooking. So I recommend that if you didn't know. Of course, you can use powdered milk. You just add some water to your powdered milk to dilute it, and you can use it in baking as well. I would recommend those powdered milk and evaporated milk for baking because they are rich in flavor. When I mix my milk in with my butter, I go in with a spoon first just to mix it before I go in with a hand mixer, because if I go in directly with a hand mixer, it will splash everywhere. I'm going to add in about half a cup of yogurt. This is whole fat yogurt, plain yogurt, no flavor. It gives it a really nice, really nice flavor and texture. You add some texture to the cake, and I really don't know why it makes it taste so nice. I think it's because of the fermented milk mixed in with the flour, and it makes everything when you mixing your flour after you add the yogurt, it mixes so well, so it gives it an excellent texture. So I'm just going to go again and use my spoon to mix everything in. Again, we want to make sure that we don't make too much mess, so I start off with a spoon, and you don't want to overmix the flour because you don't want to work the gluten. You don't want it to become too elastic, if not it will turn to bread. So I added a bit more. I ended up using 2 cans of evaporated milk, but the reason being because it was too thick, so you need to add more liquid to get to the texture you want. I will recommend that you never add water to cake, always use milk. That adds more flavor. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of baking soda. These are just rising agents, and then I think half a tablespoon of baking powder. So this will allow your cake to rise in the oven. You can see how nice the texture is looking. So you always want your cake to be a pancake. When you're making pancake, you want it to be that texture, not too liquid and not too thick. Just, I don't even know how you explain it, but just like that. See how it looks? If you eat custard or stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But you see how light and it is. See, look how beautiful everything just mixed in together. And another thing I would say is always have an extra baking pan somewhere, because this is too much cake in one pan. It's going to swell in the oven and start spilling. So that's a mistake I made. So please have an extra pan so you wouldn't have to go into the oven and clean up the mess and stuff. So this is what it looks like. Because of the brown sugar we added, it's a bit browner than traditional cake. But if the color, or if it's too brown for you, you can always take off the if it's too crisp for you, just use a knife to cut off the top. But I wouldn't cut it off because it tastes really nice. So this is how I make my basic cakes. And I also made another cake which you will see without brown sugar, and it's not as pigmented as that. So please look to my videos to see how I made the frosting and how I decorated the cake. I've included snippets of the rest of the process in here, but yeah, this is how I make it. And this is the other cake I made. This is the cake without the brown sugar, and you can see how pretty it is. I just love it's not too dense, it's moist, and it's just perfect. So thanks for staying with me, guys. I'm going to link the videos of my frosting as well as my cake decorating techniques in this video, so you guys can watch and enjoy it. And please don't forget to leave a comment and share the video and like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.